Hey everybody,
Hey, y'all.
welcome back to another fantastic edition of the His and Her Money Show. I'm
And
Talent,
I'm Ty.
and we are all about helping you take dominion over your money and your life. We're going to be talking about some life stuff on today because we
Marriage, I
know
love it.
a great deal of you all are married or aspire to be married. And because of that, we like to switch up the content every now and then. We get in your pockets, but now we're about to get into your relationships on this particular episode.
Yeah,
We are
I'm
excited. We have a very special couple in the wings to help
Yes.
us on this journey.
The Taylors, right?
That's right. We're going to be talking with Kendall and Fantasia Taylor. They have a fantastic new book, and they are on a mission to help strengthen marriages around the world. So, man, like we always tell you, get your pen, get your paper,
right. Take
open
good
up your
notes.
notes app, because a bunch of jewels are about to be dropped. Trust me, we read this book and they were just like going in. So they're going to go in on this doggone interview too. So we're going to be talking with Kendall and Fantasia.
Yeah,
Let's
we
get
just
them
ordered the
on
book.
right now so we can dig into all of their advice to help us get on the same page in our marriages. Hey, Kendall.
Hey, y'all.
Hey, Fantasia. Welcome to the His and Her Money Show.
Salute. Glad to be here.
Yes. Fun fact, we are like the first couple that they're interviewing.
Ain't that something?
Been interviewed with. Like, what? Oh my
So
gosh.
we are excited to have you both here
Yes, very
because
much so.
you all are on a mission to strengthen marriages. And I think that's a pretty noble mission because marriage has become something that a lot of people are putting off, pushing to the side,
don't
not
see the
seeing the
net-
value in.
Yeah.
And I think that's a narrative that needs to change. I think we're going to do a little bit of that paradigm shifting here with this episode. Some people, I don't know how, but some people may not know who you all are. I don't know how they don't. I don't know. I think everybody knows who they are, right? So, but just in case, for that one person, let's just pretend that there's one person watching or listening right now that don't know y'all. Can y'all say hello to them and then let them know what you guys are all about?
Okay,
Well, they might not know us. You better know her. You better know my wife.
If you don't, I do a little singing, here and there. Been in the game for about 20 years. Tells my age. Won Idol in 2004, and been on this journey ever since. Did a little Broadway. Now on the big screen doing a movie titled Color Purple. I have about, how many albums out? That's crazy. 67 albums. Yeah, somewhere around that number. And I met my husband. And, if you don't know me, Google me. I've always been transparent. I've always put my story out there. And been through a lot of ups and downs. And I met my king. And we've been doing it together ever since.
That's my queen. As far as me, like I would say my wife's accolades are more above ground and mine are below. I came up very rough, very hard, like a lot of black men, unfortunately. But, at the end of the day, I was able to overcome a lot of those struggles, spent a lot of years lost in the streets, but figured out a way to take those talents and skill sets that I was using for unrighteousness and transition them over into the marketplace where I was able to, again, express my capabilities in a very successful manner, have managed, owned, and helped develop many different businesses, self-educated black man. Didn't go further than 10th grade education, but I also understood that education is not bound by just what a teacher can teach me. It's what I have a hunger to learn for myself, and there is no end to that. And so met my wife in 2014. We made a very instant agreement that this was us, that this was it. And I guess we'll dive into, when I heard you guys kick off about money and finances, I was like, okay, now we're going to get to play a little bit because we are a couple who have done things God's way. I think it began with my wife coming in one day and saying, I got a gift for you. I'm looking for a pair of sneakers. I'm looking for, a nice jacket or something, but she gave me something even greater. She showed me her license. And it said Fantasia Taylor. It didn't say Fantasia Barrino Taylor. It said Fantasia Taylor. And after that, we joined accounts, stuff that I was like, how do we do it? But when she didn't have the reluctancy, I said I have no room for it. So honestly, she led in that area. We joined accounts. We started to have more accountability around our finances, and because of tumultuous situations that I believe we're going to dive in, we had no other choice but to join our businesses, and we stand very strong today. In 8 years of marriage, and I would say about 6 years of being in business together. So we're here.
And I just want to say something about that license thing, because some people may be like, okay, what does that mean to you guys? For me, being an entertainer, people know me as Fantasia Barrino. A lot of people will say, keep your last name. I deal with a lot right now on Color Purple, where when they're promoting, they sneak that Fantasia Barrino back in because they feel like that's how everybody knows you. When it comes to me and my house, my marriage and my children come before the stage. I love to sing. It is my ministry, but it is not something that I focus on all day long. People need to know my name and keep my name the same. And a lot of people do it because they work hard. And when a lot of people divorce, they say, I want to keep my last name because that's how people know me. Of course, Tina Turner, she wanted her last name because people knew her as Tina Turner. For her to drop Turner would have been different. There's a lot of Tinas, but there's only one Tina Turner. So I wanted Ken to know, first of all, that this marriage and our family and what we are building is bigger than the stage. So that's why I went and I changed my last name, and I didn't have to keep the Barrino because it's bigger than that.
I love that. They speak my language.
Are they speaking your language?
All day long. Absolutely.
Why is that?
For some of you all who know our personal story, I married someone that had debt. I didn't have debt.
Was it me?
It was you.
Okay.
It was you. Credit score was a little off and everything, but when we got married, it was us, right?
Yeah.
It was now my debt. And so I love that. Talk about why is it important in marriage for you to join together and be one? I heard you all say that you all have been more successful. You all feel like where you are now is because you all joined together. You all talk about that in your book as well. Talk about why is that important? Why is that important?
When we first got together, like he said, he had his business. I had just started Rock Soul. It still didn't belong to me. I was still up under a label.
No, you still have Bobo.
I still have Bobo?
Yeah, we built Rock Soul. Yeah, you started with Bobo.
But I started doing
the brand.
I started basically putting it out there. God had given me Rock Soul. Yes, I was still up under the label. And I was ready to be released and do my own thing. And to be honest with you guys, being released was not something that I seen happening anytime soon. But I said, you know what? I'm going to start speaking it. I'm going to put it out there. Because I was realizing and over the fact that my gift was being prostituted and everybody else was profiting off of the gift and I wasn't. So we were not doing it together at first, and it seemed like we were hitting so many bumps. We were hitting so many. It's just like, what is going on? I know that you're very smart and you built the brand, and if it had not been for you and everybody who was working for him and the people that he came up under and kind of allowed them to move over and rest, they were telling me how amazing he was and what he had done for the company. But it seemed like we were not reaping from what we were putting into these companies and into the music. And so I remember coming to him in the sauna. We were sitting in the sauna, and I said to him, we should do it together. Let's me and you do this thing together. And at first he thought I was crazy. And I said, we both were like, if we're going to lose, we can lose on our own. So we were saying, like, if we're going to go through this, we might as well. You get it? And so from that day forward, when we decided to come together, yes, it was still a little rocky, but we started seeing, God started speaking to us and showing us things and clearing out things. And the label called and said, we're going to let you go. Because I want to let you guys know something. Sometimes either you can be let go or you can be blackballed. Mm-hmm. Meaning they shelf you. Nobody else can hear any more music from you. You can do music, but you're not making anything. And that was my fear because I was like, man, I've been putting so much into this. And every time I hit the stage, no matter what I do, I give my all and I'm good to people and I make sure all my people around me are eating and I'm never cheating anyone. And I'm like, okay, God, it can't go this way. And so when we came together, we started slowly seeing things slowly.
Very slow.
Very slow. That's the other thing, patience, because we want it. What's the song? You may not come when you want them, but it'll be there right on time. We sing it. Girl, when it happened, we be like, hold up, God, I'm going to need you to move a little quicker. It was slowly, we started seeing doors begin to open. We started seeing, like God started sending all the relationships and all the partners that we needed. And that was all we were missing, was coming together. A lot of times you don't see that in marriages, especially in industry. They're like, no, I got my account or I got a side account. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I told Ken, I said, we got to do this thing together. And when we did, doors began to open.
Like you have a lot of people who want the blessings of God. You want to be the head, not the tail. You want to be above and never beneath. You love to be the lender, not the borrower. Mm-hmm. We love that one. But don't want to do it God's way through God's principles. So it's like you can't get the back end without dealing with the front end. And so we just made a decision to join forces and really cleave and join and become one. And it was a tough moment, man. We were sitting there in our first 3 years of marriage between our respective companies. We had grossed $30 million. Couldn't trade the car in. Couldn't sell the house. Couldn't repair the house. And we was like, hold on, yo, we can fail on our own. And we literally got rid of every single individual. It doesn't matter if they were on my staff and my company. It doesn't matter if they were doing her makeup. Everybody had to go. The only person who still here is Dorica's, her hairstylist and a dear friend of ours. And we built it from scratch. And so what we're walking in now is a decision we made in 2016. And it has not been easy, but it has been worth it.
Yeah.
And just as well as we got married after 3 weeks of knowing each other, we had to learn. The learning curve was very steep and very sharp. And then so we get married in 2014. After 3 weeks, you don't really know each other. You know the spirit, you know the principles, you know those non-negotiables are there. But we had to learn the individualisms and the preferences. And then 2 years later, now we're in business together. So we had to relearn each other as entrepreneurs. Who she is as a wife is different than who she is as an entrepreneur. Who I am as a leader, as a husband, is different than how I handle things from an executive level. So we had to dive into that. And, we're still learning things, but it's more rewarding because whether we win, fall, stumble, or stand, it's ours.
We're doing it together, baby.
Yeah. Your story, and there's so many different ways I want to go, but here's the thing. You all are intentional about being led by the Spirit in every area of your life. You mentioned, well, let's back up. You all met while both of y'all were pretty much abstaining from dating, which is divine. Then you all connect and get married after 3 weeks of dating. So again, you all are doing a bunch of things that are uncommon. You all are in the prime of your life and intentionally not dating. Then you all meet. And then you all decide to date. And then you all only use a 3-week period to decide this is who I want to be with forever. And then you all keep doing uncommon things that you just mentioned. Fantasia, 20-year music career, industry standards. You come into this thing with a prenup. You protect everything. Right. You protect the brand. You don't change your name. And not only do you change your name, but you decide to merge finances with your new husband. Kendall, you're building a transportation business. You're focused. You locked in. Like, I'm not going to be distracted by nothing at all. Yeah. And you decide, well, here comes God with the remix. Here comes the person that I'm supposed to marry. And you all learned a bunch of things along the way. As you said, 3 weeks isn't enough time to, in a usual traditional sense, to know somebody enough to marry him, but you all were following what you felt like the Holy Spirit was doing. So I say all that to say, how do we, everybody listening, tuned in to you, incorporate the leading of the Holy Spirit into all these different areas of our lives? Because those decisions that you all made were not only uncommon, but were tough. and you all decided that you were going to listen to the Holy Spirit anyway. Talk to us about how to develop that discipline.
Even when you decide to listen to the Holy Spirit, I want to say something. That is when it gets real. Stupid real. Like, come on, you guys know when you decided, I bet when you guys decided to do your thing, was it not storms coming from places you didn't even know was like, wait a minute, hold up. People that have never shown you what you're like, wait a minute. You've always been, and this person on this storm started coming. I'm talking storms.
Straight up.
Yeah. When we decided we're going to listen to the Holy Spirit. But we also realize that God has He has His hands in all of that. You get what I'm saying?
We done interviews all day, but I'm actually going to sit up this time.
Yeah, go ahead.
Check it out, right? Check it out. Trust in the Lord. Lean not to thy own understanding. How the industry does, how society does, how other marriages do, right? It's uncommon, but it shouldn't be. Lean not on our own understanding, but acknowledge Him in all thy ways, in your book, on stage, in your program, every platform that you go to, and He shall direct our path. We quote these scriptures, man. We go from Sunday to Sunday, man, but when it's time to activate it, we go right back to the world. We go right back to the world. We like God because it puts us in a nice category that shields us from our flaws, our sin, our mistakes, our weaknesses. We feel like if we put God in front of something, it's going to give us a pass from true investigation. No, when it comes time to walk out these paths and these truths, we bail out. And then when we hit rock bottom, we call God, the same person who we rejected and we basically plagiarized and manipulated. Like, we're not going to do that in this house. I did it my way for 36 years before I met my wife. I did it my way. I landed in jail. I had friends killed. I got shot twice. I lost everything that I had. I did it my way. She did it her way. She was at the top of the mountain coming crashing down. Going to the top of the mountain, coming crashing down. We realize, man, if we keep building things on sand, it's not gonna stand. So finally we come together and she's like, I love the Lord. And I'm like, I love the Lord. Then okay, cool. We in agreement, where two or more come in agreement. He's there in the midst, and we start building things on the rock. We really start building things on the rock. That doesn't mean making sure the contracts are rock solid. That doesn't mean making sure the technology is rock solid. That means in everything we do, Father, is this what you want us to do? Are you going to be with us? Are you going to cover us and shield us? We start building things on the rock. Then not even a contract, not somebody else's perspective or personality or whatever can take what we have. And it's been tough. Not doing the work. Boom. Now we cooking. Not doing the work. She was doing the work and I was doing the work before we met. But now we got to do the work God's way. When somebody does something to us publicly, we got to sit there and wait on vengeance is mine. I shall repay.
It's so hard, but we got to do it.
Because we got the platform where we can Because we got the platform where we can hit you from 100 yards away and tear your head off. But vengeance is mine, I shall repay. Don't return evil with evil. Love thy neighbor. Turn the social media cheap. That's the tough part. It's easy to do what we do because that's what we were created to do. It's a challenge to do it in unrighteous areas God's way. That's when the proof is in the pudding.
It's a confidence and an assurance that comes when you follow the Lord's ways, right? You know that you cannot fail if you follow His ways. So I love that about you all's story. In the chapter Contracts and Covenants, you all talked a little bit about everything that we're talking about now. So for those of you all who want to learn more about their story, make sure we didn't even say the name of the book yet.
The name of the book is No Crowns in the Castle.
Yes.
Obviously, y'all can see already
oh my God.
that y'all need this book.
Y'all need this book. It's so very good. I love it because Fantasia talks about it from her point of view, right? Mm-hmm. And Kendall talks about it from his point of view in the book. There's something that you all said in your book, which I thought was like, wow, we definitely have to talk about this. How you both submit to each other. Talk about that.
This what got y'all in trouble now a few years ago.
Well, not really.
S-word. I'm just playing.
But with me being so transparent from the jump and speaking, I don't really focus. Now, when I first started, what people would say would hurt me and bother me, but my grandmother, and may she rest in peace, she was my biggest fan. I would always call her and she would say, Tasia, what did she say? if God before you is more than the world against you, too much is given, much is required, anything worth having. Like she would always have just the right things to say to let me know that don't worry about any of that stuff. You understand? When I said that, and me and Kim were just talking about this not too long ago, a lot of women hear the word submission, and the first thing you think is a man telling you what to do, when to do it, how to do it. Can't go nowhere. You can't do this. You can't unless they're telling you. But it makes sense because Ken then came behind it, and I was over here like, yo, that's good stuff. When you grow up in a household where you see your mother being beaten, and the daughter says, and I speak a little bit about certain things too with me and my mother's relationship and some of the things that, I've seen growing up with her and my father. You start to think that that's what submission looks like, to be beat on, to be called out of your name. When it comes to young men, what you see in the house, what they see their father do, you start to connect that word submission with all the wrong things because that's what you've seen growing up. Funny, that's what I seen growing up as well. But I also had a mother who was a God-fearing woman and who submitted to the wrong partner. And I love my father to death. But my father was just being what he's saying. He didn't have the example. And when I said it, I think all women thought, oh, she's being controlled. And I'm like, well, should y'all know me by now? Can't nobody control me. But if the father tells me to do it, okay, I'm going to do it. But nobody can control me. And that's not where I was coming from. When DJ Envy and I started having that conversation, it was just kind of spilling some things. We just jumped on relationship. Because we all know sometimes Breakfast Club it can either go good or it can either go bad. And so he and I connected spiritually on what he's doing now in his marriage. We didn't get to go deep into certain things, but we just started talking. And I was like, you know what? When I found the right one, I was able to truly submit. And so when I left from the club, everybody started calling Ken's phone and Derica's phone, and they were telling me things that were being said, and it didn't scare me or make me feel bad. I just realized those are probably some of the same women who went through some of the same things that I went through, and they're not in the place that I am right now, but I'm going to pray that they get to that place. So I was going to leave it alone, but King said, nah, let me help women and also help the men. And so then he came back and we sat at the piano, and he was basically saying the man submits and the woman submits. And it's not
my issue was and still is, even on this video that we on right now, like we are all out of pocket. We are all out of pocket. Life and death are in the power of the tongue, and you shall eat the fruit thereof. So therefore, I would believe that definition and context determines our reality. All right? We keep looking at women. That's the problem. That's the same thing Adam did. He looked and said, but she. You see what I'm saying? No, it begins with us. Submission is the most powerful thing that we can do when we're in the right atmosphere. It's no different than when Christ was going to the cross, man. He didn't want that smoke. He was like, man, please, man, like let me offload this, but if it's your will, I trust you, I love you, I believe in you. Your track record is so powerful that I will submit to this demonstration, even though I don't like it. So it's supposed to begin with the man. We're supposed to set the tone and tempo, but because we have perverted it, abused it, mishandled it, and destroyed it, it has lost the power of what it's supposed to represent. However, certain men who are in right relationship with the Father and do the personal development and self-work within themselves, they reach a place of being so grounded in truth in this world, not of this world, that a woman will look at him and say, yo, I want to be attached to that. That attachment is not a suppression. Submission means my wife is powerful, she is capable, she is a giant, she is a force. But she saw and sees, and I have to continue to earn that, continues to see something in me where she's willing to attach all of that power and that strength to my leadership. However, my leadership still has to incorporate her opinion, her wants, her needs, her preferences, her perspective. So the world has this connotation that it's like Barney and Fred and Bedrock, and that you hit them over the head with a club and you drag them in there, and then once the swelling go down, cook me something to eat. That's not the demonstration. The demonstration is that I walk in humility, that I surrender, that I'm patient, that I ask for forgiveness, that I offer forgiveness, that I own my mistakes, I own my responsibility. Like, yeah, you want to be attached to that because it's something real. Yeah. And so when we got a chance to bring the whole formula together, I'm just big on that one, man, because it's getting in the way of God being able to do what he wants to do. When we brought the whole formula together, Taylor Talks just took off. We just kept riding the wave and rocking with it. We handled it with care. The book is here. And, it all came from my wife trying to explain how we operate. And then I came in as a means to try to cover and shield my wife, to offer my perspective. And it was well received. And we're here. But I really hope we as men, as a culture of men, get this thing under control, because we possess the ability and opportunity to bring healing to our women as it relates to that word, man. That's real. Now we can cut them off.
Let the church say. Let the church say.
We have a great night tonight, and I'm so
love it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so good.
That was so good.
Y'all did an awesome job breaking that down, even in the book, where you really unpacked what mutual submission looks like, and how, as the heads of household, the Bible gives us way more verses on us submitting and how we're supposed to demonstrate, because we are called to love our wives as Christ loved the church, which in and of itself is full of sacrifices, because he sacrificed his self, knowing how imperfect is not a word, ladies and gentlemen, how imperfect his bride was and was going to be. And he still went to that cross anyway. And that's what God is calling us as the men to do as well. We are to lead sacrificially. Amen. And because of that is the only way that our wives have something to submit to, is if we are first submitted to what we are called to do as the quote unquote heads of the household. Now, let's talk about this no crowns in the castle. I love the allegory of this because you all individually had your power structures going on in your vocations, and you all figured out that trying to be those people at home was a bad idea. And so that's where this concept of no crowns in the castle comes from. Can you unpack that? Talk about how you all came to this conclusion and how we can apply this principle to our marriages as well.
For me, I think that especially in the lane that we all are in, it can tear up a lot when you try to bring forth what you do and how you do it, and how you run your business, and the people who work for you, how they listen to you when you speak in the meetings, and when you try to bring that home, it just doesn't work. It just doesn't work. I believe that you have to separate the two. For example, I go and do a show. We're in arenas now. Thank you, Lord. So many people out
there. Come on, arenas. Come on. Hey, let the people know. Yes, we're in arenas now. We are in arenas. Okay?
Which means I get to sing to so many folks. But after I get off stage, singing to all my family, and everybody's out there rocking with me and singing all, a lot of times that stuff can get to your head. They got a meet and greet afterwards. Everybody want to have a picture with you, and they're treating you with the utmost respect. And when I get into my dressing room, I can either take that in there and feel like, did you see how they were treating me? Can you get me some food? Can you do this for me? I drop it, and I'm a wife. And what's the first thing I ask you?
Am I hungry? First thing she asks me, do I need anything? I'll be bugging. I'm like, nah, did you just see what I saw? And when she operates with that level of humility coming off stage, what room do I have to be egotistic?
Ain't no need for any of that. Because this is just my ministry, and this is just what I do. I even with I call them family, but the fans and the people who follow us, and when we get off set, Travis will even say to me, like, why don't you just get in the car? I end up talking to everybody. You did like, babe, yeah. I speak to everybody on set. The cameraman, the people who are standing in. I speak to them all because this is just my gift. All of us are gifted. I don't want to ever take this thing to my head where I feel like, So that's what keeps me humble is by always reminding myself that, girl, this ain't about you. If God decided to snatch that away today or tomorrow, when I'm on set, they ask me to do something I didn't think I could ever do. Before they yell, taping or they about to record, I walk off to the side and I say, okay, God, it's me and you. This helps me to stay humble. This helps me to know that, yeah, I can speak to all of these people because they're just like me. This helps me to say, like, I'm just Tasia. And when it's over, I go back and I make sure Keziah has a changed pamper. I make sure Dallas is doing his homework. I make sure Zion is keeping a job. Lord, pray for her. And I make sure my husband is taken care of. There are no crowns in this castle, not just in our house, everywhere we go. Everywhere we go. I'm not going to bring that home. And I talk to a lot of young ladies who will say to me, but I've been doing this for so long. He came to my life. He don't understand how I've been writing. And I'm like, yeah, so you got on the Timbs and you want him to wear what? You acting like you can do this by yourself. So do you want to be a wife? Do you want to be in a relationship? Because from how you're even explaining it to me, you don't want nobody to come in and do any of that because you're so focused on your gift and what you've been doing and how much time you put into it. But that could be snatched away tomorrow. This family, my children, and my husband, this right here is what I have forever.
Come on. Why do you feel like we're in church?
Because they keep taking us to church for some reason.
Oh my gosh, that's so good. So good.
I think it's a very dangerous thing to bring your crown into your castle because your house is supposed to be the number one place where we can take those crowns off. Because when we take off those crowns, man, it maintains a sense of reality. Mm. It is a dangerous thing to think you are what you do. Whew. It is very dangerous to think that you are what you do. That is a component, that is a department, an aspect of who I am as a whole. If you lose yourself and get engulfed in what you do because you're being fed by your fans, your comments, your reviews, so on and so forth, then you lose touch with the person who was before you became, who was the little girl who just loved to sing, who was the person who would go and speak around the country for free. You lose the essence of that little space between Father will you and you being blessed with the thing that you have, because that is the pure moment of it. Yeah. And we see it all the time. We see it with athletes. We see it with musicians. We see it with actors who they get to a point where you become a slave to your own talent. Mm. And you lose the essence of the joy that came from expressing yourself creatively. These are ways that we express ourselves, hopefully unto God that blesses somebody else. But an expression should not be the overall essence of who I am as a man. So when I'm laying on my pillow, I need a safe place to land because it's heavy to teach men. It's heavy to go into maximum security prisons. It's heavy to go out here and build something out of thin air. I need my wife to be able to comfort me and give me a safe place when I'm tired of being a soldier, when I'm tired of being a warrior. I'm tired of having the right answers. I'm tired of being philosophical and analytical and all of this stuff. I need a place where I can say the wrong word and she'd be like, I know what you meant, baby. That's why the crown has no room in our crib, because this is the only place where I can make a mistake and not be judged for it. You ought to see me when I post something. I'm rereading it again. Make sure I spelled it right. Does this get right?
I think we all do. We go through that.
You know what I'm saying? I need to be able to burn around my wife and she'd be like, oh, that was nasty. And still love me. Yeah. And still make me 10 feet tall.
I love
that. But we have to both collectively take the crowns off and get used to that so we can have that safe space. Otherwise, we're always on the stage. Otherwise, it's always lights, camera, action. And then we lose ourselves.
But the good thing about it is when we get ready to walk out, I want to speak to everybody out there who's listening, who's in a relationship and who's not in a relationship. female, male. Always put your crown back on. We put our crowns back on when we walk out there.
You know what it is, man.
Now, but we realize that while we're out there, me and Ken got certain things that we can, something can happen, and the first thing we do is, like, okay.
We'll talk about it later.
We'll talk about it later, right? We always have to remember the time and the place for our crowns, because we're all kings and queens in Christ. So the moment we start to take off our crowns, and the moment you start to lack in your marriage, you start cheating, you start looking over here, doing this, doing that. Ooh, come on, somebody, I just give you some.
Yo, check it. If we always wear our crowns in the castle, now your crown could be your PhD, it could be your doctrine, it could be your podcast, it could be your clothing line. If you always wear that in the crib, what happens if you lose it? So because we never wore our crowns, we would maybe bring it up in the early arguments and try to stunt and flex. But when we lost everything, I still recognized her. When we lost everything, she still saw the king in me. When my company was taken from me, man, that was. I had just got out of jail. I started with one van, and I built a $5 million, almost $6 million business starting with one van. But when it was snatched from me, because I didn't wear that at home, she still recognized me. And that gave me something I could build on. But if all I was a business owner, if all she is at home is an entertainer, what happens if I bump my head in the pool in the back and I lose my gift? Or she already had a tumor when she did Color Purple, and you lose the gift, then I won't recognize who you are. So it allows us to stay true. It allows us to stay authentic, because things happen. And when we went through those things, she still looked the same to me. Boom. I didn't lose my attraction for her. When I lost my company, she was still attracted to me. But if all I was and everything that I talked about was being at the top, then she don't want to make love to me when I'm at the bottom.
But if we can be honest, every king in the Bible went through some things. Every king, you know what I'm saying? Come on, I'm not messing with y'all. We ain't never been with the Bible. Like, let's keep this thing. No,
y'all are blessing me. Oh my gosh! One of the things that you said, Fantasia, in the book was you love being a singer, but you love being a wife and a mother. One of the things that we say here at home is family is our first ministry. We're pastors outside of here. We own a company, but our family comes first. Yeah. And so many people probably watch you and they envy your gift. And they're like, oh my gosh, if I could just be you. And you're like, I love that. But what I love most is being a wife and a mom. Please talk to that. I love that.
Yeah. Kids said, be careful what you ask for. They all want it. They all want it, but don't want what comes with it.
That we was watching the TV show. He said she know what she wants, but she don't know what she getting.
Yeah. You know, I have lost several times. And then I went through a time where I got caught up in, well, let's win, let's be number one, let's drop albums that, sell so many records. And we were sitting down strategizing, and the plan was just win. How can we go? And I ended up almost losing my life. That's when I had to start. This was before I met Ken. And I had to sit back, and we have these conversations now on Color Purple sometimes, because I hear the younger ones complaining about where they want to see their gift. They say, why am I not here? And I always wonder, why am I not there? And I'm thinking, oh, wait a minute, ain't we on the same set? This right here is historical. You get to a point sometimes in this industry, and not even in the industry, I hear nail techs, hairstylists, photographers. We're living in the time now where everybody wants to be hot on social media, wants to have a certain amount of numbers, a certain amount of likes, and they're watching constantly and scrolling and feeling like, okay, if I'm not here, then I'm not in a good space or in a good place. I had to get to a point where I had to go back to that little 5-year-old girl who just was singing anywhere. Like, they would ask me to sing. Girl, we could be at a store. They would always walk, sing. Let me hear you sing. My uncles would always sing this, sing that. And I just love to sing. And I had to get to that space in my life where I said, I'm already winning. Not because of the stages that I've been on, not because of what I'm doing, but I literally woke up this morning. When my little brother went through his motorcycle accident, I was able to see a lot of things that I took for granted. I hate that he went through what he went through. It was a necessary thing for him, and it was a necessary thing for people in our family. Some missed it, some caught it. I caught it, and I realized he wasn't able to do for himself. He could not walk. He could not use the restroom on his own. He had about 30-something surgeries. He and I would sit and have conversations. And I realized that we are winning when we just simply wake up in the morning with breath. I can get up out the bed and go use the restroom on my own. Things are working. I can hear, I can taste, I can see all the stuff we take for granted. And I was like, you know what, Tasia, chill out. Chill out and just sit back and say, whatever door opens for me, I'm going to walk through it. And I'm not going to look at it on a scale. I'm just going to be appreciative of the fact that I'm blessed. We're blessed.
Y'all got kids?
3.
3 babies, yep.
Check this out, right? Say a child comes to you and says, hey, mom and dad, I want a laptop. It don't got to be a fancy laptop. I just want a laptop. I want to make some videos. I want to do some creative things, so on and so forth. When y'all like, yo, we're not spending no money on no laptop. You don't need no laptop. Keeps on asking. He starts to show you things in his character and his behavior that he's going to be responsible for. And you start to say, you know what? Let's talk about this. And you decide. Now, he asked you for a $250 laptop. Y'all come together and you say, you know what? We're going to give him a $400 laptop. We're going to get him one better than what he asked us for. He gets the laptop. After about 2 months, he's hanging out with his friends, and he said, I got $1,200, $1,300, $1,400, $2,000 laptops. So he starts to get very unappreciative of the laptop. He's like hammering it all crazy, spilling stuff on it. They like, you like, why you not using your laptop? And you like, well, man, honestly, like it's better ones I. That would offend you. It would piss you off as a parent because not only was I not going to get you the doggone thing, you asked for a $250 laptop. We went and got you a $400 laptop. We had to cancel a couple of date nights to make this happen, and now you're ungrateful because you're looking at what somebody else has. Get out of my face. That's how God feels. Because we forget the moments when we said, God, if I could just make a living doing what I love to do. Because you were doing it for free. You were trying to work a job and you were shooting photos at night. You know, you were going to school at night, working a full-time job in the daytime. There was a point in time when we all, you, us, said, God, if I could just make a living just doing what I love to do. But what happens is he grants us that and then some, but then it's about being number one. And we don't appreciate that laptop anymore. We get ungrateful. And we got a whole world of that because all we care about is the next, the latest. Okay, we ain't worried about that. Okay. And I think we have to be careful about that. We have to be careful sometimes to pull ourselves back to that 5-year-old moment of realizing when we just said, hey, we just want a podcast just to be able to talk to some folks. You know, if I could just sing and better take care of my car and take care of my house, I would be happy.
Look at how I want to record now. I don't even want to go into a studio.
Yeah.
I want to record how we used to record. When we had a mic and a closet. I kid you not.
And she always talking about that. I'm going to record my next album at the house.
My next album will be because I remember then we did some of our best singing there. Like I'm talking, we in there singing, we in there. And then now we go to these bigger booths and I'm fighting for a connection.
Yeah.
No. So it's like when I asked God to take me back, he took me all the way back. So I'm talking to these young people and I'm like, hey son, let me tell you something, this is history. The last night, was that last night or did I get home the night before?
You got home Monday.
Okay, what's today?
Don't start Friday. Date night.
Okay. So those young people who were just stand-ins, all they had to do was just lift up a lamp, lift up a light while I was singing I'm Here. Now remind you, we were out there till about 4 o'clock in the morning. And I'm watching all of these young people and I'm watching them come up to me with a heater and hot hands and put a coat on me. And I'm watching these young people out here shivering. So I told them, no, you can take the coat. Take the hot hands unless you got hot hands for everybody. Because I want them to see that we all in this thing together and what we are creating is history. So after it was over, I could have went straight to my car and not gave none of those young people an opportunity to speak to me or say something to me or just, but no, I want them to see like you just as we on the same page. We doing the same thing. We in the same scene. So when I did, they were coming up to me and they were saying things like, Miss Fantasia, I just want to let you know I've been always wanting to do something like this right here. And when they called me and I said, I'm going to get to where you are. And I said, you are. We're right here together. You talking to me. We right here together. I said, I want you to count every blessing. When God see you count every blessing, he'll continue to open doors. Don't judge it. Don't ask it. Just stay humble, young man. Stay humble, young lady. And we all sitting out there talking. It's about 5 o'clock now. Travis in the back like, but that was my time to minister. And that was my time to remind them. Get on social media sometimes. You say you want it. What are you willing to do for it? Because my grandmother used to say, too much is given, much is required. What are you willing to put in for it? Don't judge what you have off of other people's things. And when we got ready to leave, one of the young men was crying. It always trips me out when I see men. Because, women, we will go there. We don't mind. And the young man said, can I tell you something? I said, yeah. He said, I've been through some things. And I'm out here, and just hearing you say that inspires me. And that's when I said, now I can go. Now I can leave. Because I've inspired one so that they don't end up how I was, almost lost my life. We don't hear forever, but this is a great conversation. We're excited to be with another couple, and I would like for us to exchange information. And let's do this often to inspire everybody that's watching. But that's when I knew it was I could leave because I had inspired them to know that you're here now. We're together now. We are on the same page. We're in the same scene.
Good stuff, man. So, what y'all have been sharing has been life-changing already. Before we land this plane, though, I want you all to unpack for the people listening what they will find when they go out and get a copy of your new book, No Crowns in the Castle.
I would tap out like this. How to manage real love in a fake world. We all want something real, but we are being forced to play fake games. I hate social media with a passion. I love the internet because having not gotten a high school diploma or college education, I've been able to surpass people with masters because of the tools and resources that are at my fingertips, while navigating through the temptations and the distractions that are there to lure, especially men, away. Everything is sexual and sensationalized. When we get done with these filters and we get done with these likes and these comments, we sit with ourselves and we want something real. Because those likes don't comfort you. They don't pay most of our bills. They don't help us grow and develop into the fullness of ourselves. We all want love, even if it's not in a companion relationship. We want love that just makes us feel like we're not alone. Love will help you from not feeling invisible, misunderstood. Love is the two most powerful forces on the world, I believe, are love and music. They're just powerful. And for those who want love in whatever context it needs to fill a blank or void in your life, we just want to put our life out there as a sacrifice to be scrutinized or to be celebrated, because you have to risk both, of how to find love and manage that power in a fake world that wants to tell you that love looks like swinging, that love looks like open marriages, that love looks like compromise, that love looks like abuse, that love looks like OnlyFans, because those get plenty of publicity. But the real love that can heal, that can keep you warm at night, that can give you the courage to stay or the courage to walk away, those things don't get enough press. So we want our life to be a contribution to those looking how to find something real in love in this fake world. Yeah.
And for me, I want to speak to all of the women out there who follow me, who have been through some of the same things I've been through, and who have given up on love. Not just love, because we speak about love and we speak about family and we speak about business. And I think that it's the circle for me. I've been hitting all of those areas.
I like that.
And I want to speak to those women because I thought I would forever be singing Free Yourself and Bittersweet. I didn't think that true love was out there for me. I didn't think nobody could come in and handle everything that I was coming with. But I had to realize that we had to sit back and be patient. Ken always says this thing. He says, patience is what you do while you wait. So when I took that fasting time, being patient and learning how to love myself, I didn't think love was going to show up that fast. To be honest with you, I had enjoyed kind of being single. I was like, oh, this is cool, okay? I want to speak to them and let them know that we have to sit back and allow God to work on us, because sometimes we feel that we're ready when we're really not ready. And if I didn't go on that 7-month fast, I wouldn't have met Ken. We wouldn't be together right now. Yes, we're still growing. Yes, we're still learning. I don't think that ever stops. But I had to take that time out for myself and learn how to love on myself and even get into a position to be a wife. To let them know, thank you, babe. So you just ready for date night. To let them know that nothing, we got to stop looking for these microwavable careers, these microwavable relationships. We got to be patient and learn how to let God have his way in our life. That is the hardest. We say it good. We can even sing it good, but it is the hardest thing to do, is to let God have his way. And I think that in this book, we share so much of that. And I want every woman to know that there is love out there. But are you ready? Have you positioned yourself? Have you prepared yourself? And to patiently wait and not think you can put a relationship in the microwave and warm it up. It'll never taste.
So let me put both of these together in like a sentence or two. I'm going to put both of these closeouts together, right? What I talked about earlier, social media. We are being socially engineered for instantaneous rewards. Instant videos, TikTok, quick videos, quick upload. Everything is training us to be impatient. We don't realize it when we're scrolling and we're looking at thousands and thousands and thousands of imagery and millions of pixels. We don't understand what it's doing to the subconscious. It's also changing the way we view things. And so family, love, business, they're not going to be in a minute video. It takes time. It takes time. So let's be careful, because the same tools we're using to express ourselves are also social engineering us to be impatient and to abort the process. And anything, especially like what we have, it comes with a process. And process is progress is a process. Yeah.
Come on, somebody. You remember when somebody with this is getting good. And I want to say,
y'all got 3 Baptist closes, huh? All right.
Can I take my time? No, the game comes on at once.
Listen, I'm going to say this. Remember when your grandmother used to cook, or your mother used to cook, right? And it took so much time, right? It took time. Back then, they didn't have Instant Pasta. You put it on the stove or put it in the oven, and you just go through the day with smelling, and it made you even hungry. You be like, Grandma, when it's going to be done? When it's going to be done? Now we got air fryers and Instant Pasta. The meal is different. I would take, if my grandmother was still here, I would take my grandmother's meal any day before I would take an air fryer. It still works. It's still good. We put a lot of our salmon in the air fryer. It works. It's good. Back then, when what they used to put in the food and how they used to go back and they used to say, it needs to sit, it needs to simmer, give it a little more. And by the time you sit down and eat it, it was worth the wait. That's what we got to bring back to everything, not just relationship, to our businesses, because a lot of young people and a lot of people are trying to start business and they feel like when one door's closed and another door's closed and that's it, let's jump to another business. It takes time. When a woman gets pregnant with a baby, you have to carry that baby for 9 months. No matter how tired she get, you got to wait 9 months. And you know, we be like, "Woo, I'm ready."
We be ready too. We be ready. Many reasons, right?
Doggone right.
It takes time, and that's how we want people to know that what we're sharing here, what we went through, we're open, we're transparent. And we just want to bless people who are married, who are not married, who are looking, business people, family members. We just put it all in here. It wasn't our intention. We didn't say, hey, let's do a book. it came to us. We said no at first. Give us time to think about it. And we also said if it doesn't touch our home or do something in our home first, we don't want to do it. And it did that. And this is our new vow. So no crowns in the castle.
Yeah, we can definitely vouch for just how transparent you all were throughout the pages from start to finish of this book. And we learned a lot as well. You guys were you guys did a fantastic job with the writing, the style, the flow, and the practicality within the pages of No Crowns in the Castle. So salute to you all. Speaking of salute, why don't you tell everybody about Salute first? Tell everybody about Rock Soul. Tell everybody about Taylor Talks and how they can just plug in with y'all even after this episode is done.
My page is Salute First. I've been going into prisons for years. I'm a three-time felon. When I say I grew up in the streets, I grew up in the streets. But also a person who has a hunger for knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. And I feel like I have a duty. W.E.B. Du Bois called it the talented 10th. And that's a 10th of the community will go out, get exposure, be able to touch things, and they need to bring it back. And that's what I want to do. I want to take the experiences and the opportunities that a lot of men don't have and break it down in a way that's palatable for those guys to be able to have success, to be able to take ownership of their lives. And so that's what it is. Because I don't even have that kind of time. But Salute First training program is about to be released. It's been 4 years in the making. And what we try to do is take ancient truths, universal laws, strategies, tactics, but gift wrapped it in a culture. Because every generation, the ears change and the voice has to change as well. And so I'm very excited to drop it. Want to let the book live. Don't want to confuse the audience, but I'm very excited. And we got men around the nation who are ready to rock with this cause. Taylor Talks, we're going to see what's next. I mean, we had to take a break for the movie, but I think it's very clear there's opportunities out there, but we are business people at the same time. And I'll let my wife talk about, you're a little cute. Like, I see how you look at me. I see how you look at me.
8 o'clock.
It's date night.
Man, sorry about that time,
Rock Soul is our baby. We linked up together. King came in and started reading all my contracts. King came in and started helping me see where I was being raped, where I was being taken advantage of. And now that everybody that's on board and in our circle are a part of Rock Soul, all love and respect us both. We treat our people with nothing but love and care, but we also know that we don't want to go backwards and allow anybody to prostitute the gifts. That was the biggest thing. Of course, music will always be me. I'll be back to the stage soon, but right now I'm working on Color Purple and totally submitting to the role.
Congratulations. This is huge. Congratulations on that, man.
Congrats.
It's going to be amazing. I'm not just saying that because I'm a part of it. If I wasn't a part of it, because just to let you guys know, I did say no at first.
Wow. Okay.
I played Seeley. He told me in 2007, Jesus Christ. And I did many interviews, and I said several times that I played her, and I enjoyed doing that at the time, but I would never do it again. And when Scott Sanders called me, he says, I need you. And I said, Scott, I'm not sure if you heard the interviews, but I said never. And I'm glad that I didn't allow the past and the spirit of fear to come in. I'm in a totally different place now. And I can see Celie in a different way because I am older, wiser, and in a totally different space. So I'm glad that I said yes, and I'm giving my all to it.
Man, if this ain't a bottle of wine, I ain't thirsty. Come on, man.
I'm happy to say yes as well.
Yeah, we can't wait. We can't wait for it to drop. But the name of the book, ladies and gentlemen, is No Crowns in the Castle. Yes. And our guests today are Kendall and Fantasia Taylor. You guys dropped major gems, and we just want to take a moment just to say thank you for making time out of your super busy schedule to come and share with us and our audience today.
It was an honor.
Keep in touch.
Yes, for sure.
We want to bring y'all on Taylor Talk.
We love that.
Done deal.
Okay.
Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Another fantastic edition of the His and Her Money Show is in the books. I hope, listen, we tried to warn y'all from the beginning to have your pen and paper ready because we knew the jewels were coming because we read the book. So we hope that you guys took good notes and not just leave it there, but we want you to execute on the things that you learned.
We'll have all the links in the show notes as well where you can find this book, but make sure that you grab it and tell your family and friends about it.
And remember, we got tons of content just like this over at our website, hisandhermoney.com. That's all we got for this time, guys. Until next time. Peace.
Bye, y'all.